Bear with me one moment. Alrighty, we should be good to go.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Sylvia England, the president of the Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees. And we will call this meeting to order at 6:30. And with that, I would like to do a roll call. So, Josue,
Present.
Jeannie,
Here.
Tatiana, Larry, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Shatara, is Shatara muted, Larry? I mean, John? No? Shatara? I mean, I can see her, but I just want to make sure everybody knows she's present.
Cannot hear you. Would you like to dial in to be heard?
Okay, I can see Shatara, but we can't hear her. Is there a button or something, John, she can push?
I've unmuted her, but the better part of valor might be to telephone in. The telephone number is on the same link for the meeting, so you can still be on the phone, but your video will still show.
Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait on her. Martha is not going to be with us today. She had an emergency. Brian,
Present.
I'm here, and Robert.
Sorry, John, I got disconnected.
Robbie.
Present.
All you have to do is say present. All we're doing at this point is we're doing a roll call just to make sure that we have a quorum, and we do have a quorum, so we're going to go forward with the meeting. Take a look at the agenda. And if I could entertain a motion to accept the agenda as printed.
A motion to approve the agenda for the Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees meeting on September 16th, 2020.
I second.
Okay, Jeannie, second. Okay, all in favor?
I believe we have to do a roll call.
Right. Any questions?
Before you do, Madam President, there's another telephone number that I wasn't sure who it is, but if we could get them to announce themselves, I can rename them so their number isn't visible. Might be you, Shatara.
So is Shatara, are you in yet? That's Anna.
Uh-oh.
Is that the 224?
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that your telephone number?
Yeah.
224-473 or 224? Okay, so that's Shatara.
Okay.
Anyone else, John, that you
There's
don't
still
recognize?
an unknown board member at the bottom. I don't know who this number is.
I see Susan. Okay, someone is.
It might be me. Is there? I couldn't get rid of it.
All right. We're good.
Okay.
I just removed it. So
Okay, so that's everyone. Okay, real good. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Josue, for the agenda.
Yes.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Tatiana's not on board yet. Larry?
Hi, yes.
Shatara?
Yes.
Brian?
yes.
Yes for me, and Robbie, or Robert.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So the motion is carried. The agenda is approved as written. So now we will move on to the minutes. So go ahead and read over the minutes. And I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve the minutes of the Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees meeting on August 19th, 2020.
I second.
Okay, that was Larry.
Larry second. Yeah, Larry seconds, yes.
All in favor, Josue,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Larry,
Aye.
Shatara,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Robbie,
Aye.
and I for me. So the motion was approved for the minutes of the August 19th, 2020 meeting. Moving right on to the Finance Committee report. And at this time, we'll have Larry talk about the report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. Yes, our Finance Committee met a short time ago, and we went over two items. We went over the summary of actual versus budgeted results for the month of August, actually for the 4-month period ending on August 31st of 2020. And Anna, our financial advisor and on our staff here, went over the document, and she said there aren't really any surprises at all. Everything is going along well, and the situation is that because the library has been closed and is currently closed due to the COVID issue, a lot of expenditures or a lot of monies haven't been spent. They're a lot of the normal kinds of activity you would typically see at this time of year. Just as everything is kind of stable and on hold, much of it is due to the library's closed and there's not a lot of patrons. There's no patrons coming or going, and so such things as fines and just a number of various items just aren't being typically the typical situation as we've had in the past. But there really, Anna advised us there's really no surprises. Anna, would you like to add anything further to my summary? If you're there, maybe you're not there.
Hi, John. Thank you.
All right. Well, okay. So, well then, yeah, but does anyone have any questions about the summary of actual versus budgeted results for the 4-month ending in August 31st of 2020?
Larry, could I just kind of step in for a minute and let's
Certainly.
get Tatiana into our meeting?
Oh, yes.
And do we need a motion to bring her in? So we need a motion to bring her into the meeting.
A motion to see Tatiana.
I second the motion.
Okay. And Josue, all in favor? Jeannie?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Shatara?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Robbie?
Aye.
And I for me too. So motion has been approved to bring Tatiana into our meeting tonight. Thank you, Tatiana. Okay, continue, Larry.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, so we were just wrapping up the summary of actual versus budgeted results for the 4 months ending on August 31st of 2020. And as had gone over previous, Anna had reported to us there aren't any surprises given the current rather stable conditions of the library that it's at this point in time basically closed to the public kind of situation. So, all right, so let's then move on. Hearing nothing further on that, let's further go on then to the monthly board check detail, and that is for August of 2020. We fully discussed this detail, and the one question that I and one other board member had was, and it was very well explained by Anna and John, and I'm getting to that. It's way here on the back here. It's on page 14 of the monthly detail report. And this is under item number 113823. So it's 113823. And it's dated August 31st of 2020, and it's to a 28 Mile Vodka Company, LLC. And I had a question about what's the 28 Mile Vodka Company, LLC, for an expenditure of $6,281. And it was reported back to us that is for 2 pallets of hand sanitizer. So that's what that's all about. And the hand sanitizer is at least 70% alcohol. So that's apparently some of our alcohol makers and distributors and whatnots are going into the business of hand sanitizer with the high alcohol content. So that's what that is all about. So that answered that question. Hand sanitizer, 2 pallets for our staff, and presumably going forward. So that answers that question. So any board members or anyone?
It is not for our staff. It's for the kits that Gail is distributing to the community to help spread information, and hand sanitizers and masks to all people in the community, especially people of color who are impacted at a more extremely higher rate than people of the Caucasian persuasion.
That's great. Great. Oh, all right. Thank you.
Excuse me, where is it being distributed at?
So those particular ones were distributed in Waukegan, particularly through the Puerto Rican Society, which is just south of Water Street and Sheridan, and then at various apartments within downtown Waukegan, the Towers, and a few other organizations that serve our Waukegan community.
And how did it get distributed?
So there were different events. There was a drive up through event where people could be in their cars and be safely distanced and receive education about COVID-19 and how to protect themselves and receive their kit. And that was done in Spanish and in English. And then at the apartments, it was outside of the apartment during the North Waukegan cleanup days.
Yes.
So did the employees just stand out and hand it out, or?
So there's a mixture. We have volunteers that support this, as well as other organizations that are connected to the AAPCG and the ACL, the 2 groups that are working in the African American and Latino communities locally, as well as myself as a staff member and Jennifer Cordova, who is in my department.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Very good. All right. Any other further questions? What about the monthly check detail for August of 2020? All right. Hearing none. Yes.
I would like to share that during the Finance Committee, I asked about this, and we learned that because the library is receiving the grant for the African American Community Partnership Group and the Latino Community Association, we're going to see the expenses in our check detail. But technically that is not our library expenses or our money. We're just, because we're receiving the money for them, it'll go through our accounts.
Because we are the fiscal agent and I'm the administrator of the grant, we'll see approximately $725,000 come through the library.
I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly.
Where was a notification given out that it was going to happen? How did people know? I didn't know how to.
So this was the first of many events. By the end of the project, between the 2 groups, we will be giving out over 80,000 kits. So the first primary ones, because we're really looking to reach kind of like the census, the hard to count. It's by word of mouth. It's being there physically in locations where people live and talking to them and walking up to them, as well as social media. We had signs posted or flyers posted through the Lewis Strip Mall. So this is sort of like a wave. It will continue to happen throughout the community. We're
So
working.
the
Go ahead.
library's not doing the announcing. It's the groups that are partnering with, right?
Correct. There will be co-marketing. We had to be a little careful because we only had 5,000 kits. But when we get to the big numbers, there will be co-marketing with the library.
Okay. All right,
Very
Barry.
All right, very good, very good. All right, well, I'm pleased to say that our Finance Committee made a motion and approved the expenditures, the budget check detail for August of 2020. And so I then make a motion that the monthly board check detail dated August 2020 be approved by the board.
I'll second it.
Okay, so second by Jean. All in favor? Josue,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Shatara,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Robbie,
Aye.
and myself is aye. Motion approved. We approved the finance statements from the Finance Committee dated August 19th, 2020. Okay, 2020 disbursements. I'm sorry. Okay, so moving right along. John.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm grateful to serve at the pleasure of the board. I'm here to report that the state of the library is strong. I sent an email today to you, 2:55 p.m. with a detail of all this information. I don't want to read it word for word, so I just want to let you know the library is opening on September 21st, Monday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for in-person visits and some light browsing, including things like computer use, notary services, print, scan, fax, and photocopy. And it will be by appointment only. And so we've got marketing getting ready to be launched and has been already put on our Facebook page. So we're very excited. Gail will probably detail a little bit more about that in the services side of her conversation. In terms of operations, the building is set up. Our maintenance team has done an outstanding job of getting plexi partitions built between the computers. We have 15 computer stations and the ability to house about 25 to 30 people comfortably for a 1-hour appointment. We've also got socially distanced computers, so there's plenty of room for people to move about the floor. Stickers on the floor for socially distant queuing, lining up, and even a small customer service window in the former inventory space, basically where the sorter used to come out, is now a place where people can come with their materials if they have any questions or to get help with a library card. That's another thing that we're going to be able to offer is library card services. So changes to library cards, updates to library cards. We've been doing a lot of temporary cards and that will continue, but additionally we'll be able to get people with real library cards, which is really exciting. So the virtual office offerings will continue. I'll let Gail talk more about that, so I won't read that one to you word for word. Our admin team has been doing a great job keeping track of all of the COVID information and relaying that information. Deb recently just sent down information to our staff about COVID, and it's our guidance, including our checklist and all of our information that the staff needs to know what to do in case, and all that information has been shared wide with our whole staff. We've been very lucky thus far and haven't had any brushes. We've had some scares, but as any organization, we keep soldiering on and doing the do. Our staff has adapted outstandingly to providing virtual services and virtual programming, like via our Zoom, by using things like Zoom and Google Meet, that are providing videos via our Facebook page. It's just really exciting. I'm excited to see all the things that we've done, and I'm really grateful and proud of our team for doing it. We were going to do a staff day on October 9th. That's been postponed and will be some modified version of a staff day early November, 2, 3, 4 of November. We're also transitioning to Paylocity, which is our payroll system. It will be our timekeeping and payroll software in one. We currently are on 2 different things, and this will be the last month that we're on Kronos, and we're now moving fully over to Paylocity in October. There are a couple of contracts I included with your board packet with this director's report, and that would be contracts for the IT company that has been providing assistance since we closed and when Isaac was on his leave. So this team has basically taken over the bulk hours that we used, the block hours we had with the former company for IT support. We soaked all those up, and it's time to then consider bringing them on a permanent basis. Since we're currently in a hiring freeze, it makes sense and it's a good cost savings to the library. I also wanted to make mention of a cost of living increase that was budgeted for. I'm not trying to suggest that this is something we have to do, but something the board should consider, because just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean expenses have stopped for people or that people's expenses have gotten less. And then thank you again to our board and to all of our staff for the outstanding work that you're doing to support this library and the community. And I'm happy to answer any questions offline. But that is all my report, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along, we'll go to Gail for her service report.
Hello all. Just to give a little bit more detail of what John just talked about in terms of our expansion of services. And you know I open every month with a lead. The library has not been closed. We have been open, but the public just hasn't been in the building with us. So we're continuing all of our virtual services, and they are growing and expanding in terms of our adult literacy programming, our story times, our activities and trivia nights, which are all being offered virtually to the community, marketed through social media and in conjunction with the school district with flyers, and there's information sometimes sent out through the food pantries. We are seeing attendance and participation continue to climb in our virtual offerings. Our next phase and priority is to get the public back into the building. So as John said, starting Monday, we'll be having the public access what I call the new main floor. So it's really a cordoned off area that we have determined to be safe, that will protect both our community and our staff when they're in the building. A maximum of 25 people, which includes staff and the public, can be in the space at any one time with 1 hour appointments. If you think of a concierge service, to use a term that John loves, they will be welcomed by safety at the door, confirmed of their appointment, brought in, there's guides on the floor, one-way traffic. They'll be able to do whatever it is that their appointment is for. One example would be people will be able to be at one of the 15 computers. Any person coming in can bring up to 3 or 4 other people with them. We know that sometimes our community members have difficulty on the computer, and because staff can't walk and stand right next to them and hover over them as we've done in the past, we will be using technology which will allow remote access for the reference staff to be sort of on the computer with that person, helping them to problem solve and fix any things that they might have. Print, fax, scan, and copy will be available. We have a maintenance routine, cleaning between each and every appointment of the spaces. And included in that will be book a librarian. So the public will have opportunities to talk with our librarians for book recommendations, information, genealogy, ancestry, all those kinds of things will be happening either via phone or virtual. And we'll assist any of our patrons who need help in accessing any of these programs. Appointments can be made by phone or on the computer by the public themselves. However, we believe 90% of our appointments will be made via phone by staff, by the public calling in to staff and making those appointments. The last thing I wanted to do is provide you with an additional update on grants for this month. Since last month, we have an additional grant from Lake Forest Hospital Northwestern, which will allow us to continue to expand our community health worker program. Many of you are familiar with Manny's program. In this era of COVID-19, is even more important to talk to our community, particularly with underlying conditions, to help them maintain their health literacy. And this will be offered in English and Spanish. And we are up to a total of $241,650 in grants. And walk-ups. I forgot to say that if you walk up to the library, you will be accommodated with an appointment and you will be able to enter and receive service. And curbside and returns will continue, and this will be offered Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Nice.
Any questions?
Question regarding the library opening. When you say that light browsing, can you explain what that means?
So there will not be access to the collection or the DVDs, but in this new main floor space that's all cordoned off, there will be collection. There will be some collection for people to browse, and there is a safety protocol. If you pull something off the display and look at it, you drop it in a bin so that it can be cleaned and quarantined and replaced. All chairs have been removed. There's very few tabletops. But the tabletops that are there will have displays on them because we want our community to engage with our collection without going into the collection. And I did forget notary services too.
Notary services. Okay, great. And then how will this work if our patrons want to check out books? Are they allowed to come in the library to pick up holds? Or if they need items on our shelves, that will all go through curbside?
So the majority of it, we would like to keep our book picker-uppers out of the building and continue to use our curbside service. However, if you're in using the computer or printer and there's a book that you would like to pick up, you can request it. And if it's one of the shelves that's out there, you can use self-service and check that book out. If it's something that we'd have to pull, let's say there's 10 books someone wants from the children's department, we will use the whole process and they'll come back and pick them up through curbside.
Thank you, Gail.
Welcome.
Yeah. Great questions. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Will they be taking temperatures at the door?
So that's the last bastion of things that we need to determine. We really do not want to take temperatures at the door. When you look at ALA guidelines, they tell us that from a library's perspective, that's edging in on personal medical information. However, we do know the City Hall is taking temperatures, and so we will be having another conversation. Deb has been doing her research, and we are putting together a very similar guidance for the public that we have for our staff. So we'll get back to you with a final determination on that.
My other question is, you said 25 people, including staff, correct?
Correct.
And if I have an appointment, I can bring up to 4 people with me?
Well, we're hoping you'd really only bring yourself or 1 or 2, but we would make that accommodation because we know we have moms and dads who have their kids and they might come as a family.
I understand, but how's that gonna affect the 25 people?
Because we're making the appointments ahead of time, then if there are two groups of 8 that come in, there'll be less appointment slots filled.
Okay. One last question. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Are there any hot spots for people to come out?
I'm glad you asked that. So currently, we do not have hot spots. However, we're partnering with United Way, and we are part of a grant. Funders got together. I think I mentioned this last time. So we're seeing a response from the meeting that I attended with funders throughout Lake County. And the first response has been to partner with United Way on a grant. And we have the potential, if the grant goes through, the library would become a community lender for 300 hotspots. So I'll keep you posted on the outcomes of that.
Nice, nice.
Sorry, can I ask one more question? Going back to Jean's question just now about up to 3 to 4 people. This will all obviously, I assume, be common knowledge when people make their appointments. I just am foreseeing situations where parents don't always know ahead of time how many children they might need. Single moms, daycares, and they show up, and I would hate for patrons to get turned away at the door.
So remember what I said, at least 90% to 95% of these appointments are going to be made on the phone with our staff. So we'll be asking questions and really trying to get to the root of what you want to do with your hours so that we can accommodate you. But we know that there will be instances where people will forget, or they're just going to kind of sneak in and do what they need to do. And we will handle each of those instances professionally, but with safety of the public, of the community, and our staff at heart.
Okay, and I'm sorry, one final question is,
It's okay with me.
will
Now.
any study areas be open? Will there be any places where people can come just for quiet studying or quiet work spaces?
At this point, we will not have any public spaces open where people can sit for any period of time. All chairs have been removed from the new main space floor except for by the computers. And remember, we're taking this 30 days at a time. There's a lot of factors that will let us know when we can raise the number up beyond 25, when we can move about and not even do appointments. We're going to take this a week at a time and continue to expand based on both what is going on in the community. Waukegan is still a hotspot, as well as what we can handle in both that sort of nurturing, warm and fuzzy, but yet maintain order way of
Thank you,
life.
Gail. Thank you very much.
I have one question, just one question, Larry here. Is that okay, Madam Chair? Yeah. So Gail, so what is a check outable? I mean, like, are CDs check outable or audio visual type deals, or is it just kind of come and look and then no take out, or what? I'm not quite sure how that works.
There will be a sampling of the collection, all aspects of the collection available in this new main space. So people will be able to browse some of our newer CDs or books. Reference and Children's will be working on book displays. They will be topical in nature, so that we'll make sure that we're helping people to engage with all of our collection. So
but there'll be nowhere to sit. But there's no sitting. It's just standing up and looking around kind of thing.
No, even if you look at our surrounding libraries who are not in hotspots, there is no sitting. Not yet. Okay. We will keep our eye on it, and we will allow it as soon as we can.
What about one more? Well, what about magazines? Magazines are off limits. There's no looking through magazines or anything like that, or newspapers?
Magazines are off limits. No, we are following the direction of ALA and Realm and Rails, and we have pulled all magazines. They're too hard to clean and quarantine.
And newspapers as well.
Correct.
Newspapers as well. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Although magazines can still be circulated.
Thank you, Gail, for your report. Moving right along to the Governance Committee report.
Hello, everyone. The Governance Committee met on Tuesday, September 15th at 6:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. So that was yesterday. And we discussed a lot of the items that are actually on new business and action tonight. So I'll talk more about those then. But we did set a new meeting time that will be the first Wednesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. So the Governance Committee will be meeting the first Wednesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. So anyone is welcome to attend those. Those are public meetings, including other trustees that are not on the committee. We discussed we had a preliminary discussion on a generic collection policy that we could abide by for future loans of any collections that we may have to other organizations. That's going to be a discussion we're going to move along in the next few months.
Okay, thank you very much for your report. Moving on to my report, one of the things that I do want to bring up is that everyone needs to make sure that they get their certificate of completion on file for the OMA training, the 2020 training. So if you have not done that, if you could go ahead and get that training out of the way. And what it states is that you only have to do it one time. But my suggestion would be to go ahead, if you have your certificate completed, to go ahead and do it again, if you have time. It's just that there's some new information, especially as it pertains to the virtual meetings that we've been having. So that's one thing. And once you get your certification done, then you can just get it, I guess, take it to Susan or mail it to Susan and she'll put it on file for us. Also, the committee met to select the new executive director. And one of the things that came up was that there really are two different ways that we could do it. We could do it in-house, or we could start looking for a consultant to come in and do it for us. So those are the two things that are on the table. And presently we are looking for some different firms just to bring that information to the board so that we could start looking at it. So we'll have another meeting before our next meeting, and I'll send that information out. And it's an open meeting. Robbie, I think you're the only one that don't know about the meeting, but we'll make sure that we send you the information and you can be a part of that committee also.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All righty. And that's other than what Gail talked about with passing out the mask and the hand sanitizer. It was very nice. They were right in front of the towers, right here on Genesee Street. So that was very nice. Okay, and other than that, that's my report for tonight.
Sylvia,
Yes,
is it possible that Susan can let us know if we need to do that new form?
she sure can.
Thank you.
And if I had it right in front of me, I do have a copy of that, but I just don't have it in front of me and I would have to look for it. But she
I did
can
one. I
definitely-
just don't know if it's the newest one.
you know what I'll do is I'll send her a little email and ask her if she'll send that out, you know, who needs to get it done. Okay.
She is on the call this evening, by the way.
Oh,
Madam President.
Susan,
So
I'm
she's,
sorry.
She's listening to you.
Okay, Susan, you heard that? Okay.
That's a good idea. I would like to know too. Larry here. Yeah, it's a good idea. I like it.
I heard it, Sylvia. Sorry, I
Okay.
was muted, but I'll take a look at who needs to complete that yet.
Thank you very much, Susan. Okay, moving right along to new business. And the first thing is everyone received a copy of the fines, policy number 420-1. So at this point, I need a motion to approve the policy.
A motion to approve policy 420, removal of fines.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Well,
Josue?
I could give some recap of what we discussed at governance committee.
Sure.
At the governance committee, we discussed the removal of number 2 in the policy definitions, adult feature DVD, all DVDs excluding nonfiction. That information was relevant when the policy included fines, but because we are removing fines on all materials, because it's a barrier to access, we decided to remove that. So there will be no definitions for adult feature DVDs.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Josue.
May I follow up with just a question to Josue? So that was the major revision in what you just stated to the policy?
We removed that from the policy and also just removed all fines.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Josue.
Aye.
All in favor? Okay. Jeannie?
I'm going to abstain. I'm really not understanding this.
Okay. Tatiana?
No.
Larry?
No.
Shatara?
Aye.
Brian?
Yes.
Robbie? Or Rob?
Aye.
And I for me also. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the motion has been approved. Okay, so we are taking the fines out for everything. We still have fees. They still have to, if they get to $25 in fees, they still have to pay that. So this will definitely open it up so that more people can use our library. So thank you all for that.
I agree with you, Sylvia.
Okay, so next, the harassment policy number 370, and Josue, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, the governance committee also discussed harassment policy 370 and is recommending the approval by the full board of trustees.
So we need a motion.
I'll motion to approve harassment policy 370.
I'll second that.
Okay. Josue?
I would like to discuss, I have a question. So Larry here, so is this a new policy, or is it, or are we adding on to it?
I'll answer that one. The policy itself is a new policy. Your old policy, the state law has changed in the last couple of years, and so a lot of the things that were required under the new act, didn't mesh with the language of your existing policy. So I drafted a brand new policy for you. That's extremely comprehensive, and I think it incorporates a lot of the things that were in your old policy, but it re-articulates them in a clearer manner.
Larry, did you get an opportunity to read it?
I did, and I just hadn't remembered seeing it quite to that extent before, so that's why I asked the question. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you.
And I'll also note, just for anybody who's looking at the packet, the items in red are items that were changed between the first governance committee meeting and last night's governance committee meeting. So there were some modifications requested for clarification purposes by the board.
Thank you, Douglas.
I had a question.
Yes.
Under number 3, sexual harassment, the last paragraph, it says to prohibit harassment of any person by any official or whoever, and it says on the basis of sex or gender. Should that be sexual harassment that you're talking about, since this is the sexual harassment contract? Because you're saying harassment here, and to me, that's just like any type of harassment.
I'm not sure what you're looking at specifically.
The
Which
third
page are you on?
paragraph, it says to prohibit harassment.
Well, the
Sexual harassment.
policy itself, although it's a sexual harassment policy, it is unlawful to harass anybody on the basis of the person's sex.
Sex and gender, and this is true, but then that there's other things that you can't harass people based on also, and you only got sex and gender in here.
That's true, but I guess I could modify that if you would like, but I think that this is still generally a pretty solid policy.
Oh yeah, I'm asking a question because it's
a good question.
I
mean, you're correct that it is unlawful to discriminate based on other factors or to harass somebody based on other factors. Specifically when writing a sexual harassment policy, it's generally based on factors like sex and gender.
Did that answer your question, Jeannie?
I know I'm
Is it
talking in
possible to
circles.
put sexual harassment in there instead of just harassment?
I can certainly take a look at it and bring it back at the next meeting if you would like.
Can I just ask, I mean, it says it's a sexual harassment policy, so would we need the repetition of saying sexual harassment again later? Or I'm asking this as a legal, how this would stand up. I mean, if it says it's a sexual harassment policy, and then later says what Jeannie said, that section, that harassment.
I mean, if you read the next sentence,
Yeah.
following the sentence that we're discussing, it says expressly all appointing officials, agents, employees, and officers are prohibited from sexually harassing any person, regardless of their
It would be
employment.
redundant, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I'm trying to say it in multiple ways, so it's really clear.
Okay, thanks, Douglas.
So Jeannie,
and the only reason I said that is because that's probably the only place I didn't see sexual harassment.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Deb.
I think what Jeannie is looking for maybe is just consistency throughout, where we're referencing harassment to say specifically sexual harassment. Is that correct, Jeannie?
Yes.
So could we approve this with the changes?
Sure.
That sound okay, Jeannie?
Sure.
Okay. So it has been motioned and properly second that we, let's see, this says this is a review of the, okay, so it's been motioned and second that we adopt the harassment policy number 370 as written, but with the changes in the wording for sexual harassment. All in favor? Josue,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Shatara,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I for myself. So it has been motioned and it has been accepted that we place this harassment policy on file to use at Waukegan Public Library. The next one is our 3 options for IT Connect. And John, could you explain that a little more for us?
Yes, Madam President. So again, not asking for a decision to be made at this moment unless you feel comfortable. That the only reason I brought it before the board because 2 of these at least would breach our $10,000 spending threshold, and so it requires board approval to go into a contract with this company who, again, we were using bank hours through another company, and the gentleman that works with that company has his own company and has been helping us for the past 3 months. So it's a fit and it's a work in progress, but no required action is actually, I don't want to necessarily force your hand to make a decision with such short notice. But for your digestion, this is 3 different options for service that I can see I still need to seek what Isaac believes that we need before I move forward with any of these 3 contracts. But as you see, they have the specific dollar sign attached to them. A month. Well, the first one was $2,916.67 a month for 4 hours of in-person weekly assistance with 2 hours of remote emergency service. The second one was $4,125 a month for 10 hours of weekly service and 4 hours of remote assistance. And the third one was almost like a catch-all gold Cadillac amazing package that has him basically stepping in a lot more, but that was for $7,270 a month. So just as a heads up, I'm going to come to you in October and request approval for one of these contracts based on Isaac's recommendation. But until that point, we need to keep this gentleman's assistance to help Isaac with our work. We're going to keep him on an hourly basis until then.
Okay. Any questions of John? Anyone?
So John, this is Larry, so do you have any initial kind of a sense of which option A, B, or C is a better choice, or just you're still just sort of looking it over? I looked at all that and I counted between all the options A, B, and C, I counted 28 total pages, and I'm sitting here going, this is like reading War and Peace, but War and Peace is more interesting. But there's a lot to it, and I was a little baffled by it. So
that is kind of the thing that we're going to have to digest. I think Douglas needs to see these contracts and approve of them. There are certain things that we may want to change to see changed. So again, I will come to you with the proposal next month, but I wanted to give you all 3 options now so you can see what we have to mull over.
So is this the only
good. There's a lot.
I'm sorry, is this
there's a lot there? Yeah.
Is this the only company that you're gonna bring information back on, or are you gonna, especially if we go with the higher bids?
Correct. At this point, the reason I'm suggesting this company is because he's worked out for us for the past several months since he came on in July, sometime early July. So he worked with us and helped us in Isaac's absence and fit perfectly with our team. Thank
you for the heads up. Okay. And then election day. which is October.
3rd, November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Sorry, what am I thinking? October. So is there something that states that all government employees should be off on that day?
Mm-hmm.
Josue, did you?
Yes, I mean, the state legislature did pass an act this year that did give, or did order that all public offices be closed on election day. I do know that it is being challenged in the courts right now by a number of municipalities, including some in, I believe, Lake and Cook counties mostly. And we're still waiting for some resolution on those.
I don't know. So, I mean, we do have another board meeting before.
I would just say let's take the day off.
Is there a reason we couldn't just close early rather than take the whole day off?
Right now, the language of the law, it says that the office has to be closed on election day.
All right.
It's only applicable to 2020. It's not applicable to any future election days.
So can I speak?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would recommend, because the current law states that we must be closed on November 3rd. We should just plan to close on November 3rd. I mean, election day, in my opinion, should be a national holiday to begin with. So I think we should just give the opportunity for staff to be off that day and participate in civic engagement.
Madam Chair, I have a follow-up. Larry here. So Douglas, you're saying, I'm hearing you say use the term office. The offices have to be closed, but the library is not an office. It's more than an office. I mean, am I being too technical? Or I mean, the library is a public institution. Does the law say public offices and public institutions have to be closed on election day, or is it? I mean, or am I getting too technical here? I'm just confused. That's all.
No, it's a good question, and I don't have the exact text of in front of me tonight because I wasn't actually, sort of given a heads up that I needed to speak on this. But my recollection was that it specifically applied to all state agencies and any political subdivision of the state, which the library would qualify under.
I'd like to make a motion to table this till October when we have more information about the resolution from the current litigation going on.
We have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call. Josue.
No.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
Tatiana.
Aye.
Larry.
Aye.
Shatara.
No.
Brian.
No.
Rob.
No.
And I would say no, as far as tabling it. So, motion was not carried. We will not table it. We will make a decision.
Can I ask a question now?
Go ahead.
Since he said it's in courts to test it, if we say that yes, they are going to be closed, and it comes back and they win that case and says no, they don't have to close, we would have to follow the law, right?
Well, the answer would be that you could basically do whatever you want under those circumstances. You would have announced that you are planning to be closed on that date, and so all of your employees would likely be planning on having that day as a paid holiday. And if you chose to then backpedal from that, I would expect that you'd have some employees who'd be less than thrilled.
All right, that was my reason for no. That was because I didn't understand.
Could I say something, Sylvia?
Please.
I think just to clarify, so if we decide to close the library, we're in line with current state law. If state law changes to say that we don't have to close, we can still be closed. We wouldn't be against state law for staying closed.
Yeah, that's what Douglas just said to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So we need a motion.
I'll motion to officially close the Waukegan Public Library on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Josue,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Aye.
Tatiana,
No.
Larry,
No.
Shatara,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and Rob,
Aye.
and I for me also. So it has been motion properly second that we will be closed on tax day, the Waukegan Public Library.
Election Day.
It's not tax day, election day.
I'm sorry, election day. Okay, so we did have, let's see, we have, let me just say before we move on, I want to welcome Rob Freeman to the board. Thank you so much for agreeing to volunteer every Wednesday, first, second, third Wednesday of the month to be with us. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'll give you the opportunity to speak first.
Yeah, that was quite an experience just jumping in. But I'm Rob Freeman. I've lived in Waukegan my whole life, basically. And I teach out in Grays Lake. I've done some volunteer teaching at the Waukegan Library as well. And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Well, everybody can see the big smile on my face, so you know we have a long, long, long history. So welcome, 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 Rob. Okay, so Josue.
I would also like to welcome Rob. I've known Rob for a while. He was my brother's friend growing up. I would like to pat ourselves on the back for removing fines from the Waukegan Public Library. I think we're not the first library to do it. And I don't know if you've seen the news recently, but there have been many libraries that have been removing fines as a barrier to access. So I think that we're doing the right thing. We're removing something that I think is a form of social inequity in our society. We shouldn't have people stay away from the library simply because they have accrued fines for not returning a book in time. This gives us a way to focus on the actual item. You know, we want the item back. We don't want to make money off of people for returning things late. And I don't think that we're going to be missing books left and right or DVDs left and right because we removed fines. So I think we did a good job in removing fines, and it's something for our community to be proud of. Next, I also like to remind the trustees that September 30th is the last day to respond to the census. And so we need to remind our community to respond to the census. I've seen that Waukegan and or Chicago are the two lowest response cities. And out of all the communities in Lake County, we probably need the most funds. And so let's remind our community to respond to the census in the next 2 weeks. Third, I noticed that public comment is last on the agenda. And oftentimes when we do get public comment, it is about items that are on the agenda or that we're going to vote on. And so I would like to recommend that we move it up on towards the beginning of the agenda, if that's possible. And I don't know what would be required to make that happen. Other than that, that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Jeannie?
I want to say welcome, Rob. I can honestly say I have thoroughly enjoyed this meeting. I was dreading it, but it was pleasant, and I want to thank everybody.
Well, thank you, Jeannie. Okay, Tatiana.
I just want to welcome Rob. Thank you for joining us. I also actually had the same comment as Josue tonight, which is I was going to recommend that we move public comments up to the beginning of our meetings. So I would be strongly in favor of that. I think it would be a really good thing to consider. I also am wondering if we can include census, maybe this is a question for you, Gail, if we can include census information with our hand sanitizer and masks, if we can do that. I have not seen a lot of census information in the community as of late in the past week or so. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. And then finally, I'm wondering if we can bring the mailer back. I know we were getting mailers to people's houses, little newsletters. And I'm wondering what ended up happening with that, why that stopped. And that is all for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Larry.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first I want to welcome Rob. Welcome to the library board. It's a great public service and it's exciting and it's fun. So welcome. Now, in terms of the census, the library has an integral part in all this, right? Do we still have someone sort of on our staff on a census basis to kind of oversee that? There's something we have connections with the census. Am I right, John?
We did until the end of June, at which point they bid us farewell and went to work at other locations to continue furthering the work of the census.
Oh, okay. So that's done and gone. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's important to get the numbers up. As I agree with Josue that we want to get a good count in Waukegan here, and of course North Chicago, but here in Waukegan as well. So, yeah, anything we can do to be of help, yeah, it's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Shatara.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Just welcome to Rob.
Okay. Brian. Hector.
Yep, so I want to welcome Rob as well. This year, we're actually celebrating 20 years as friends. We first met in middle school, so we've been friends for a while now. He inadvertently has kind of helped me foster my civic pride in Waukegan. So he doesn't really know that, but he has. So we're really lucky to have someone like Rob here with us. So I wanted to share that I really like the Bradbury virtual showcase that's on the website. I love the books that are being shown for this and the images that are attributed with it as well. It's not just like a cover of the book and talking about it, but like actually getting into the book and showing some of the actual like signatures and images inside the book. I really like that. I know yesterday there was a video where he was talking about some of the Bradbury collection. And so again, I like seeing that, again, showcasing some of those things that can really show, what the library has to offer and something that makes it very unique. So I really like seeing that. And obviously seeing the staff promoting that as well is really cool too. That's all I have.
Nice. Okay, I think that we've covered everyone. I didn't miss anyone, did I? Okay. So then we did have public comment tonight. It came in late, but I just want to acknowledge whoever, Adriana, Adrian Gonzalez. I just want to acknowledge that we did receive your comment. And do you have that, John? If not, I have it.
John, you're muted. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I do not have it, so please, Madam President.
So it says, Dear Waukegan Public Library Board of Trustees, please vote yes to remove all fines associated with library resources. The fines are a barrier to accessing resources for many kids and adults in our community, and many other libraries have implemented this measure. The library has been a refuge for many families for the last several years, and this move will help it remain a more welcoming space, especially during times like these. Thank you, Adriana Gonzalez. Adriana Gonzalez. So thank you so much for your comment. Okay, so with that, could we get a motion to adjourn?
Larry here. I'll make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Alrighty, got a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, Josue,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Tatiana,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Shatara,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I for me. The meeting is being adjourned at 7:36.